This conference will now be recorded.
Sorry about that. I don't know what the technical difficulty was, but we are now being recorded. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much. I'm John Millard, and we're here to talk about budget expenditures. You can read as well as I can, I'm certain. So this tells you mostly about our methodology. The bottom line is that when we start talking about expenditures, and I'm scrolling down to start them, the vast majority of them are arrived at by simple averaging. If we have a contract, that's the preferred method. You can see here within the legislative portion of the budget, we're planning a professional services leader workshop, and we contracted with Mr. Doug Ma for that to the tune of $2,500, and we did that in 2020. We did not execute, but we did extend the contract so that when we're able to have a physical meeting under conditions that we would call normal, it's in the budget. Where you see the word estimate, it is because we ran the average, and for one reason or another, the average did not make sense to us. So we sat down and took a hard look at what the thing is that is being contemplated and estimated a more reasonable result. Here in Codebook Publications, you can see in 2017 and 18, we spent a substantial amount of money bringing the municipal code up to par, because for many, many years, we were simply accumulating those ordinances and weren't updating the code. Then in 2019 and 2020, those expenditures dropped because we had fewer code items to codify. So if you ran the average would have come up a little over $5,000. We know we're not going to spend that. So we downgraded that somewhat and simply estimate 3,000. It will probably be less than that. The council stipend, we take that right out of our salary schedule and just do the math. And that's our methodology. We go line by line by line, and I'm happy to answer any question about any of these figures. In broad general terms, what this budget does for the city this year is it remains balanced. That is, we will not be spending more than we take in. It offers a 3% COLA to all existing employees. The step increases that people would be eligible for have already been factored in, that so the COLA doesn't skew those numbers any further. It's just a flat 3% increase across the board for everybody. The other things on an expenditure note, as Mayor Fournier mentioned, we put a line in the municipal capital improvement fund to purchase a new police cruiser. I estimated $40,000. I was presented with paperwork today. That estimate is a little bit low. It's going to be just a tad over 50,000. So when we revisit the budget on December 8th, you will see updated figures with respect to what that means to the Municipal Capital Improvement Fund. Instead of ending 2021 with $218,000 in the account, we'll end it with $208,000 in the account. The other things that are significant is we added a 5th public works employee. Recall that we currently have 3 maintenance workers and a position for a maintenance helper that we did not fund this year. Next year, we will continue to not fund the maintenance helper position, but we added another maintenance worker position because we need somebody to operate the septage receiving station out behind the wastewater treatment plant. So that the entire cost of that personnel asset will be borne by the Sewer Capital Improvement Fund, which is an appropriate expenditure of those monies. Also, in the Sewer Capital Improvement Fund and again in the Water Capital Improvement Fund, there is a line in each of those for a $40,000 emergency services vehicle. I'll let Mayor Fournier explain more about those things, but again, both of those funds are very capable of absorbing that cost. And finally, in the Sewer Capital Improvement Fund, we're requesting a $150,000 increase so that we can start building the composting facility. Now that we're getting septage receiving online, we're still generating biosolids. We still need to do something with those. So we want to rent a belt press as opposed to buy one, but we have to prepare the ground out there behind the plant to accept that belt press. So that's going to involve removing some soil. It's going to involve a little bit of paving. It's going to involve a plan for stormwater runoff, and it's going to involve overhead cover for that belt press when during the periods of time that we rent it and place it into operation. The same worker that will operate the septage receiving station will also operate the composting facility when that comes online. One last item, 2 years ago, the council authorized an upgrade to our radio read water meters. And everybody that is on the council now received a brief from Master Meter. The most efficient way to employ those new meters involves the installation of a radio tower that will automatically receive the signals being sent out by all the meters. That means that we can have the maintenance worker who used to run around and read meters be more involved with servicing, and the meter readings become virtually automatic. So we've included that line in water capital improvement. So those are the big things about this budget. Everything else is a natural progression of what we already have going for us. Pending your questions, that's all I have.
If there's anyone in the audience who would like to provide public testimony at this time, now's your opportunity. Please state your name and address. Going once, going twice. Council, do you have any questions of staff or the audience? Hearing none, this public hearing is now closed. We are asking council move to accept the administration's recommendations on budget expenditures as presented. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
It has been moved and seconded. Do we have any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Aye. Motion passes. Thank you. We have no proclamations, nothing under old or new business. That brings us to resolution 2020-04. This would establish.
Mr. Mayor, we do have new business.
Oh, I got an old agenda. What do we got? Old business. City engineer Mike Marshall has certified that all work to extend the city's infrastructure onto the property that will contain Southwest Washington Ag and Innovation Park has been properly completed by Barcott Construction and recommends paying the amount invoiced less the required retainage by RCW. We're asking council move to approve payment for Barcott Construction in the amount of $213,187 and some change. Do we have a motion?
So moved. So moved.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the expenditure. Is there any discussion? Barcott has done an excellent job.
How come we have to move to pay somebody for work that they've done? Isn't that
Uh,
just an automatic thing? They did the work, they did a good job on it, we just pay them.
The engineer, so recall that we had to involve our city engineer in this project. So he has even more hoops to jump through than the city does when he's administering a contract of this nature. So Councilmember O'Callahan, you're exactly correct. And as I was building the agenda, it was going through my head. You guys have already approved the voucher. And the reason we have $357,000 of expenses this month is because $213,000 of it is in this one bill alone. So that's the only explanation I have for that.
Okay.
Thank you, John, and thank you, John. Hearing no further discussion, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Thank you. New business. City's interlocal agreement with Thurston County Central Services for the maintenance of electronic equipment is set to expire December 31st, 2020. Thurston County has proposed to simply extend the terms of the current agreement for an additional year. City Attorney
So moved.
Hughes has reviewed both the base document and the proposed extension and finds nothing objectionable. We're asking council to move to approve the extension of the ILA between the city and the county for central services for provision of electronic maintenance.
Make it so.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the ILA. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion passes. Thank you. This brings us to ordinance 915. This would amend the 2020 budget by directing clerk treasurer to execute a series of transactions in order to close the SWWAAIP trust fund, preclude the quarry pool and street funds from ending the year with negative balances, reduce the balances of the water and sewer funds to an amount consistent with their proprietary purposes, and increase the balance of the water capital improvement and sewer capital improvement funds.
Approve first reading.
Second.
This is ordinance 9. Please go up a little bit. Ordinance, please go up a little bit. Please go up. No, go up.
Back to the top of
This
the
is
page.
ordinance 915, an ordinance of the city of Tenino amending the budget for the fiscal year ending December 31st, 2020. Whereas on December 10th, 2019, the city council adopted ordinance number 908, fixing the budget for the fiscal year 2020. And last line. Keep going. Last line.
Bottom of the page.
Bottom of the page. And this ordinance shall be enforced effective 5 days after the passage and publication, adopted by the city of Tenino, Washington, approved by its mayor at a regularly scheduled public meeting, 8th day of December 2020. We have a motion and a second to approve ordinance 915's first reading.
Call for the question.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Those
Aye.
opposed? Motion passes. Thank you. That brings us to resolution. This is ordinance to adopt 2020 municipal ordinance 916. This would adopt the proposed 2021 municipal budget. The 2021 budget is a balanced budget. The significant features of which are a 3% cost of living adjustment for city employees, a 5th public works employee to operate the septic receiving station, the purchase or lease of a new police cruiser and 2 emergency response vehicles for public works, the inclusion of true street projects, Ritter Street and Hodgson Street, the construction of a composting facility, including the rental of a belt press. We are asking to move to approve ordinance 916 as a first reading.
Move
Didn't we
approve.
already approve this?
Sir?
Didn't we just approve this at the beginning?
That was 915. This is 916.
Okay, sorry, wrong number.
It's okay. We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Yeah, Jason second.
Okay. All right. Do we have any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion passes. Thank you. So we got one more reading, so there will be some tweaks between now and the next meeting, but we'll let you know any changes that are made. Resolutions, proposed resolution 2020-04 would establish the ad valorem tax levy for 2021. This resolution would authorize the collection of $266,511.10, representing a dollar increase of $34,305.41 over last year's levy, which is 14.7% increase in property tax revenue, and represents the highest lawful levy the city can impose absent a voter-approved levy lid lift. Do we have a motion to approve resolution 2020-04?
Move
So
approved.
moved.
It has been moved and seconded. Do we have any discussion?
Yeah, again, you gotta look real closely at the wording. This is not a tax increase. This is getting money that we're already paying out so that we can now get it back into the city coffers.
Well put, thank you. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Those opposed? Motion passes. Thank you. That brings us to reports. Chamber of Commerce, do you have a report? Linda?
We are deeply involved in the Tenino holiday market right now. It is going so well. I encourage anybody who has not been there to come in and take a look at the wonderful offerings that the artisans have for the holidays. It's really a great venue.
It is, yeah. If you haven't been there, you should go check it out. It really looks nice. And there's some pretty cool stuff in there. EDC.
Before we go any further, are you guys, is everybody getting the emails from EDC?
Yes,
Is it-
from you. Yeah.
Yeah, I am.
Okay.
Okay, VCB. Fire District 12.
We approved our budget, no significant changes. That's pretty much it. Oh, for the commissioners board, tonight is going to be very well represented. For the Thurston County Fire Commissioners Association, Russ is the chair and I'm the vice chair.
Excellent. Library. Museum. Tenino Community Service Center. I don't think I saw Jody on here. Civil Service Commission.
They did not meet this month.
Okay. Chief of Police.
Good evening.
Hey.
I just had a couple things to report. I sort of set a personal goal for this month for the department that we were not going to have Thurston County respond to any calls for us, and so far that has happened, and we're gonna continue that hopefully till the end of the year. No Thurston County response. The other thing I wanted to let you know about was that the proposed contract with the Lewis County Jail has been approved for us to house by Lewis County for us to house inmates at their jail. I think it's going to save us a little bit of money because they do not charge a booking fee in Lewis County as they do in Thurston, and it's going to give us the ability to more readily house some inmates that have been getting turned away from Thurston County recently. And we had a consultation with the Thurston County radio engineer who came in and assessed our needs for new radios in the cars and for personal radios for the officers. I think that's going to be happening within the next 2 years. The whole county is going to be re-outfitted. So we got our needs. Let him know what we're going to be needing, and that cost is going to be covered by 911.
Excellent. Any questions for the chief? Thank you, ma'am. That brings us to Director of Public Works is not with us tonight. They are busy. There's been a lot of kind of limb issues. They've been replacing sewer pumps. They want to tackle the giant trees in front of the city hall and just do some management issues. They probably haven't been trimmed in, I don't remember the last time they were trimmed. I was probably a kid, but prior to the renovations to City Hall, they're going to try and remove some of the limbs. You know, they're not going to take the trees out, but they're going to decrease the limb total by quite a bit. They think they can handle that themselves. I think it's a big job, so they're looking into doing that. City planner, building.
Wayne, one
Sir.
thing about the city planner or the city workers, they did a great job with the Christmas lights again this year through the city.
Phone company. Oh, well, they did. Yeah, they did the Christmas lights. Phone company puts up the decorations. Yeah, they get into it. They really like doing that. So if you shoot them a message or something, tell them they did a good job. City attorney, city clerk, treasurer.
The only thing I have to add is I'm just flabbergasted that as bad as 2020 was in all other respects, we, the city of Tenino, continue to garner grants out of all proportion to our size and place. That we got the Ritter Street project from the Transportation Improvement Board is a huge success for us. And I just think that you council members deserve a lot of credit for that. And I think you should talk that up to everybody you meet.
Thank you.
I think that you, John, you and Wayne deserve a lot of credit for that also. Good job.
Good holiday conversations.
Thanks, Linda. That brings us to my report. So yeah, the Ritter Street is going to be renovated, and we got funding for that. It was something like almost $700,000, I think, and that's going to be significant. That is probably our worst. You know, the out of all our roads, that one's probably kind of in the worst amount of shape, but it's going to get completed out right there. And I think that there's some people looking at developing a little bit right there in that area. So it's pretty exciting. The sidewalk project, that's looks like we got funded for that as well. So on around the post office and, you know, with that whole phased sidewalk thing that we talked about. Phase 1 is funded. That wouldn't be until 2022 that it's built out, but that comes fast. The Ag Park has a very interested large tenant. So we have a letter of interest or a letter of intent that we're looking over with the attorney. And this would be a big one. You know, this would be many, you know, something like, I think they estimated like 70 jobs. I can't exactly say what it is, what they'd be doing yet, but it's pretty cool, cutting edge stuff. It's exactly what we were shooting for, and it's pretty exciting. I was nominated to join the Economic Development Commission board. So that it looks like that might happen. I told them I would take the position. So being on the EDC board is pretty cool because the EDC has been a huge partner for us, and this is just going to bring us in closer to them. And you know, we can help maybe spread some of our Tenino mojo throughout the county, and also it'll help ensure that the EDC continues to be a big partner for us. So that's exciting, and that is my report. Be that.
No report.
CIP.
That was Dave.
That was Dave. Yeah, we've got some spots that Dave has left vacant that we're going to want to revisit but we do that at the first of the year anyways. Solid waste, steady. Yeah, Dave.
George sent out a notice. You guys should have all gotten the email. I think it's in the next couple of days. It's going to be, again, another virtual one. Might want to check the dates on that though.
Okay. TCOM 911, Tenino School Board, Rachel.
Wait a second. On TCOM 911, have you guys
Sure.
got the reports that I sent?
Yes, I got him.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure that you guys are getting those now, because we haven't in the past, but because I'm because of the commissioner position that I have, I get these, so I forward them on to you.
Oh, perfect. School Board,
No report.
thank you. TRPC,
Oh, I sent I think I sent the after action report. There's also December 4th, I think it is. The first Friday in December, we got a meeting coming up.
okay.
Oh,
TPB,
also, if
go
I
ahead.
may, TRPC, we got a notice from Mr. Paul Brewster. There are a number of federal grants that have opened, and one of them is to reconstruct bridges. And so Director Cannon is looking at working with our city engineer and again to write a grant request to try to get the bridge over Scatter Creek on the west side of town replaced.
Yep, excellent. TPB,
I'm waiting for the after action reports. It was pretty much a snoozer.
okay. Public comment period number 2. If there's anyone in the public would like to provide comment, now is your opportunity. You'll be given 3 minutes. State your name and address. Going once, going twice. That brings us to announcements. Does anyone have any announcements? John
Happy
O'Callahan.
Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving,
everybody.
Okay. All right. You heard it. That's it. Meeting adjourned.
Good
Non-debate.
night.
Thanksgiving, guys.
Happy Thanksgiving. Good
Thanksgiving.
night.
Night. Happy holiday.